Hi, welcome. This is Geometry Chapter 1, Skill Number 5, Other Forms to the Slope-Intercept form. So these existing questions, if you want to pause it and write them on your paper, you don't have to take notes. This is for extra practice. But if you want to pause and try these out without me, then watch the video and see if you got them right. That's another technique to see how you're doing. If you feel pretty good about the skill, but you want to be sure. So I'm going to try these problems out. Notice they're not in standard form because the x and the y are not on one side. But they're also not really in slope-intercept form because y is not by itself on one side. So that's what it means to have something in slope-intercept form because y is by itself on one side. Okay, now the other interesting thing is this one is what I would call point slope form. And these two over here I would also call in point slope form. So we will get to those questions here in a minute, but I just want to kind of point that out. See the x and the x coordinate, the y coordinate, the slope, the x coordinate, the y coordinate, the slope. Kind of interesting. So those can be tricky. So we're definitely going to do those as well. So let's get to it. The first question is we see that y is not by itself because the 3 is being multiplied. So we're going to do the inverse operation, divide by 3, and cancel. So 3 divided by 3 is 1, 15 divided by 3 is 5, 12 divided by 3 is 4. That's kind of interesting. Every one canceled. So when I have a 1 times y, that's just y. And again, 15 divided by 3 is 5, and I still have the x there, and 12 divided by 3 was 4. Bada boom, bada bing. That's in slope-intercept form. Good job. Now, next one, and it looks like another step's going to take it. So this is keeping y from being by himself, so I'm going to add 21 to both sides and rewrite the problem. 3y, 12x plus 21. Now, I still have a 3, so I'm going to divide each term by 3. Interesting. It looks like these are all going to cancel as well. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 12 divided by 3 is 4. 21 divided by 3 is 7. So now when I rewrite this, 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 1 times y is just plain old y. There's one y by himself on one side. 12 divided by 3 is 4, and we still have the x. And 21 divided by 3 is 7. Ta-da! Slope-intercept form. Let's keep going. Maybe they'll get a little harder. Those were pretty easy. Now here, I'm not sure this is hard. The y is almost by himself on one side. It's just the 2. So I'm going to divide each term by 2 and cancel. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 3 divided by 2 can't cancel. 13 divided by 2 can't cancel. So I'm going to rewrite this. Again, 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 1 times y is just y. I got 3 halves x, negative sign, and I still have 13 halves. Okay, y is by himself. So this is slope-intercept form. Question number 4. The first thing I got to do, PEMDAS-wise, is I got to get rid of these parentheses. So I got to give the 2 to the x and give to the 2 to the plus 5. So let's rewrite it. Y plus 9 is 2x plus 2 times 5. And so ultimately, that's why I'm going to have 10 here. And I'm going to rewrite my problem. Okay. Now, the number 9 is still keeping y from being by himself. And I line up 9 under 10, not under 2x, because these are like terms. Now let's copy it one last time. And we get 10 minus 9 is 1. Ta-da! SIF. Slope-intercept form. So before we get off this paper, I want to point out that we do this usually either to find the intercept or the slope, or both. So I'm noticing the slope is the number in front of the x. Okay, so the slope here was 5. Slope here is 4. Slope here is negative 3 halves. And the slope here was 2. So that's very important to kind of notice. Now, let's go to these that are in a little bit harder point slope form. Just adjust my light really quickly. Okay. Now, let's zoom in on 5. When I see this one, I say to myself, I gotta get rid of these parentheses. So I distribute to both terms. Let's rewrite. 9 minus 1, 2/3 times x plus 3 times 2/3. Now I've got to get out my red pen because I got to cancel here. I'm noticing that I have 3 times 2 divide by 3. Well, 3 divided by 3 is 1, so that would cancel. Now let's rewrite. Y minus 1, 2/3 x plus 2. I could have also taken in a calculator 3 times 2, which is 6, and then divided it by 3, and I still would have gotten the number 2. So I'm getting close. I got rid of the parentheses. Now I have to get rid of that minus 1 because it's keeping y from being by himself on one side. I'm going to line him up right underneath the 2 because these are like terms, not this because it's got the x. Now we'll rewrite one more time. 2 plus 1 is 3. Looking good. That's slope-intercept form. Let's do our last one. So we've got a point-slope form, which means the point is 5, comma, 9, but the formula is actually subtract. So I think that the point was probably -5, -9, and the slope was 2. Now I'm going to take it from point-slope form and turn it into slope-intercept form, like the others, by distributing. And so I'll rewrite y plus 9 is 2 times x, and 5. This is the same question as 4. That's no good. I'm going to rewrite this one. This is exactly, I think I copied the same problem. I'm going to make it similar. I'm going to say it's, instead of plus 9, I'm going to say it's y minus 9. And I'm going to say it's y plus 4. So this is in point slope form, but it came from the point -4, +9, and slope of 2. So here's a new one. Let's follow our steps, distribute, rewrite the problem, 2x plus 4 times 2. So we'll multiply and get 8 and recopy the problem. Y is still not by himself because of the 9. So by adding 9 to both sides, I put the 9 under the 8 because that's not the like term. And I get slope-intercept form. Now again, the slope here is 2/3. The slope here is 2 because that is the number in front of the x, and because the number in front of the x is positive, this would be positive. Thanks for joining us.